Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Welcome everybody this evening. There must be something happening tonight. I see we've got some new faces in the crowd. Welcome everybody. If you could, please rise and we'll take a moment of reflection at your discretion. Amen. Okay, thank you. I would ask any member of council if you have any declaration of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof. Declare it for Mark. Seeing none, if it does arise throughout the meeting, it can be declared. Closed session, we have no closed session this evening, Mark. And that brings us public meetings. We have no public meetings this evening. And consent agenda. I have a motion moved by Don B. Marshall, seconded by Bev Cutting. Be it resolved that items A1 to C1 inclusive, contained in Part 1 consent agenda, be adopted as printed, and further that authorization be given for the actions to be taken as may be necessary to give effect to the recommendations contained therein. Is there any comments on the consent? Just one, wondered if I'd pull that from correspondence, Mark. Youth Literacy Council, the South Grey Bruce Youth Literacy Council, their Family Literacy Day is January 27th, and the package, I'd pulled that, and they were just a proclamation for Youth Literacy Day. We've done that in the past, so I would ask that we have that as a notice of motion coming forward, Mark? Or direct motion? Okay. Anything else on the consent? Seeing none, I will ask, call the question. All those in favor for the consent? Any opposed? Was that in between there, Doug? Or okay. I'll take it as a pass. That's carried. Thank you. Okay. And with that, that brings us down to communications from Mayor and Council. There you are. Any communications since the last meeting? Rob, Councillor Thompson.
Yeah, I just wanted to inform Council that on Saturday the draw from the Durham Ball Diamond project was held for the Christmas draw. No, nobody here won. Sorry.
I didn't get the phone call.
No, Jessica Hopkins, Jeff's wife and family won the $500 basket of Christmas dinner and gift cards and games for the kids and movie tickets and so on. So there was a real good response from the community and on support of the Ball Diamond project. So it was nice to see a local young family win that prize. So I just wanted to inform Council of that.
Very good. Thanks, Rob. Doug? Councillor Hutchison?
Yeah, I have a couple of things. Just like to mention about the Canada Day birthday celebration next year, Canada 150. A couple upcoming events which are taking place, which you'll find in this beautiful calendar, which is put together by our Canada 150 committee. It's a fundraising calendar that we put out there that hopefully people will purchase, and the funds go towards our activities for the year of the Canada 150 activities, and each community is doing a number of things. The pictures in here are done by Telford Wegg, and he's done a great number of pictures in here, so hopefully you'll enjoy that. Some things that are coming up in the near future between now and our next council meeting, so I think it's worth mentioning. The Durham West Grey Lions Club is having a New Year's dance, New Year's Eve, and the Ayton Firemen are having a New Year's Day breakfast on New Year's Day, followed by the Durham Legions having their New Year's levy. So those are a couple things that will happen within a couple weeks or so. And finally, there's There's something coming up in Elmwood, which is the Elmwood Farmers Week, which starts on the 4th and goes through to January 10th, which also will take place before we have next council meeting. So just like to wish Merry Christmas to all, and hopefully see you out there in some of those activities.
Thank you, Doug. Anyone else? Any other good news? I'd just like to say thank you to the Southgate Council. They have the Holstein non-motorized parade, was last Saturday. Invited myself, the Warden of Grey County, Mr. Barfoot was there, and the Mayor from Wellington North, Andy Lennox, to participate. Done that for a number of years, and they let us ride on the Southgate float, just out there to everybody. We haven't taken over Southgate yet, that's why the Mayor of West Grey was there, but we're looking at it in the meantime. And in this time, as Doug has said, of Merry Christmas and whatnot, just like in the last week, we've lost 2 members of the community, and just like to make note of that. Ab Ray was in his 100th year, former employee of Durham Public Works, passed away. And wasn't Ab? I thought he did work for the Public Works. Well, he worked for the Creamery, but I thought he worked on Public Works for a little bit. Okay. Well, there's 100 years in there. I'm not there with all 100 of Ab. The other lady, though, from Newstead was Audrey Helwig, had passed away, and Audrey was Rod Helwig was the Reeve of Newstead for a number of years, and Audrey was one of the founding members for the Hillside Manor. Was on the building committee, was on the board for a number of years, and has been a resident of Hillside Manor for a number of years as well too. So both communities have, in this time of happiness and good cheer and everything, there is a bit of sadness. So I'd just like to mention that of those 2 individuals, as well as many more, but those were kind of significant couple that have gone, but certainly won't be forgotten. Anything else? Carol?
Well, I should have mentioned, when you mentioned the Holstein Parade, the Durham Girls marched, and representing West Grey.
I
And
thought maybe you'd mention it.
yeah, and they were kidding. We always have a support vehicle, and they were kidding the driver that she was going to have to learn to ride a horse so she could come in the parade with us and put the signs on the horse, but she pulled a wagon instead.
Very good. No, excellent parade down in Holstein every year. And Doug?
Sorry, I have one more item I was going to mention, and I missed it on my notes here. We since the last council meeting, we did have a successful tree lighting in Durham, thanks to the BIA. I know we've already had some tree lightings in some of the other communities around West Grey. But I'd also like to thank the West Grey Parks Committee for all their work on the lights around West Grey. And you'll notice in some of the light displays, you'll see the red maple leaves, and that's to signify the celebrations for Canada 150 next year. So thank you to the parks for putting that together, and they look really great on the trees that are out there. So just like to mention that.
Very good. Okay. Thanks, Doug. Anyone else? On behalf of council and everybody out there, once again, Merry Christmas to you and your family, friends. Enjoy the season. Now that we do have the snow to make us feel like we are in the season. Okay. Delegations, we have in our midst this evening a number of individuals, longtime service award recognition. So at this time, I would like to ask a few of them to come forward. Mark's given me the advice on how to run the microphone. Thank you. And Brent, I believe some of those gifts are here.
Yes.
So Yep, they're right here, Mark, thanks. We have 4 awards this evening for 10 years, long-time service, 3 of them in the Newstead Fire. I know that we don't have all of the individuals here, but we do have a couple of them. And the first one I have is Ben Becker, but Ben is not here. The second one is Colin Eastman. And I know that Colin is here. And on behalf of the municipality, Colin, thank you very much for your service and expertise with the Newstead Fire. Thank you. Good?
You'll probably get one together.
Turn that one on too. Okay. And the second one that is here this evening from the Newstead Fire is Adam Chalmers. Adam, another 10 years, another 20 years, and you maybe catch up to somebody else that's on the fire service with you. I think it's a family thing down there, right? Yeah. Yes. Adam, congratulations. Very good. Got all the microphones and speakers. The next individual we have, we're going to jump past 20 years, and we're going to go to 30 years of service. Bill Duma has been with the municipality, with Normanby Township, and now with West Grey, running the landfill every Saturday, 52 weeks of the year, for years and years. Not so much in the wintertime but certainly Bill has been a landfill attendant, as I said, at the Normanby landfill, and we do have a gift for you, sir. They're both the same box, so I hope I don't... They're
the same.
They're the same? Anyways, Bill, congratulations, and thank you very much for your dedication. And thank you. Have you got anything you want to say, Bill? For 30 years, you get to speak. Well, I didn't offer it to these 10-year guys. You've taken a lot of crap. That's not from any of the individuals that have stopped in to see you on a Saturday morning. We'll leave it at that. The last individual, and saving the best till last, Sharon Hamill has worked with the municipality between Bentinck Township and West Grey for 28 years. This will be the last council meeting that she attends as a employee. Sharon has said that she's going to retire to do what she loves doing, working around the house, doing a few things, but most of all looking after spoiling her grandchildren, which she does have three of them here with her this evening. And Sharon, we're going to be missed, but remember us with this little gift, and every time you take a look at your wrist, you'll think, oh, good, I don't have to go to work today. Sharon, please come forward. Huh? Oh, no, there's better photographs up here. You've got this one here. How's that?
I'd just like to say, going back 28 years, to the Council of the Day and the staff that hired me at that time, I'm really thankful. In having this job, it provided me with a wonderful experience and afforded me the availability of raising my children the way I felt they should be raised, and gave me a good life. In amalgamation came along. First of all, Mark came along. 23 years I've worked with Mark, so thanks, Mark.
You need a pat in the back, yes?
No, and then we amalgamated and our work family grew, and for each and every one of them, I'm very, very thankful, and those are people I'm going to miss the most dearly and every. But anyway, thank you to all of you, greatly appreciate it, and thank you very much. Oh, first of all, my family, my daughter Melissa, her husband Jason, Joshua, my grandson, Natalia, my oldest granddaughter, and Jocelyn, my second youngest granddaughter. I have a son, and he's working tonight, his wife, Tara, and my youngest granddaughter. Anyway, thanks.
I think I speak for all of council, Sharon, it won't be the same without you around here.
It's going to be tough. You're going to be tough.
Very good. All the best.
Thanks.
I just feel that now we should go and celebrate or something like that after.
Motion to adjourn.
As much as I would like to do that, Bev, I just can't accept that at this point in time. But again, to all of those out there, congratulations. We will make sure that Ben's gift gets to him on time as well, too. Thank you.
Take care, Jason.
Okay, now back to business. Okay, yeah. Some people are going to go and celebrate. The rest of us stay here
What did we say?
and work. Merry Christmas, Bill. Okay. I think where am I down to? First one we have is Carrie's report. No business arising. So our Director of Finance Treasurer on page 56 of her package. The first is the voucher, 23 of 2016. Any questions on the voucher accounts before I introduce the motion? Very good. I have a motion moved by Carol Lawrence, seconded by Bev Cutting. Be it resolved that the Director of Finance Treasurer be authorized to pay the accounts presented as voucher number 23, 2016 of the Municipality of West Grey in the amount of $2,838,499.48. Any comments on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. Second one is our grid adjustment.
Yeah, grid adjustments next. And the RFP for insurance.
Insurance, there's the grid adjustment one there. Okay. We have tried our best to keep the grid in line with the cost of living. And each year we've adjusted that. The council approved, it's a 1.6. Any other percentage increase was in line with the cost of living for about October to maintain that level of, that it doesn't get out of line or out of whack with our comparators and where wage grids are moving to. Any comments or questions before I introduce the motion? Okay, this one did come from Committee of the Whole for recommended to approve it at 1.6 at our last meeting. So I have a motion moved by Rob Thompson, seconded by Doug Hutchison. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves a 1.6% increase in the 2017 grid adjustment for municipal staff and council, effective with the first full 2017 pay in January 2017. Any questions on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. The next one is on our, insurance, the municipal insurance, liability, and property. And it's been recommended that council approve a renewal with the Frank Cowan and Company for the 2017 January 1st to January 1st, 2018. Anything else, Carrie?
It was a fairly modest increase and quite in line with what we had paid last year.
Yep. Okay. and considerably less than what we paid in 2015. Okay? I have a motion moved by Don B. Marshall, seconded by Bev Cutting. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves the renewal of the municipal insurance for the period January 1st, 2017 to January 1st, 2018 with Frank Cowan Company for a total annual premium of $245,480, excluding applicable taxes. Any questions or comments on that motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. All right. The next one is the annual supplementary assessment write-offs. Anything else you want to say about that, Carrie? It's an annual thing at the end of the year.
It encompasses all the various new construction that we've added on, and any of the adjustments for minutes of settlement and vacant unit rebates, request for reconsiderations, that type of thing. But
Yep. Okay. It's a year-end motion that we have. I have a motion moved by Rob Thompson, seconded by John A. Bell. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves the supplementary omitted taxes and write-offs in the amount of $17,653.82 and $123.38 for local taxation and BIA area rates, respectively. Any questions on that motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. All right. And the next one is the West Grey Canada 150 Committee. Oops, I got them mixed up here. I'm sorry, in my following on the way I had the motions in my hand, not what was on here. The year-end transfer for landfills, and that's to any surplus to go into the landfill reserve. So I have a motion moved by Carol Lawrence, seconded by Bev Cutting. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves the transfer of any year-end landfill surplus when comparing budget to actual for the West Grey Landfill Reserve. Questions? That'll be added up. We don't know what that is yet, as we're not to the year end, but this gives us the transfer to reserve. Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. The next one is the West Grey Canada 150 Committee. And this was to, we had 25,000 in the budget, and they're looking for 10,000 for the budget. Councillor Hutchison.
Yeah, just to clarify that, from our committee, July 1st is the day that, as a whole, West Grey, we're gearing up for that day in Durham. The West Grey Durham Lions Club is hosting that, and they've done that in the past. They haven't always done it on July 1st, so this year, because it's a special year, they're doing it on July 1st, and we're promoting it as a all of West Grey event. So we're in the planning stages, and because it is going to be a busy year next year, we needed to make some commitments and start booking things. And so some of this money goes towards the games part of it. The West Grey, the Lions Club is looking after organizing the event, getting the fireworks. They're having a dinner that night. There'll be a bar for that evening. And so our committee is trying to help out with terms of organizing some other aspects. So the games part of it is a big part, the bouncy castles, climbing wall, things like that, which are in big demand, and we just felt we need to get some things booked because things are booking up fast. There's going to be a parade, hopefully a fairly large parade, because we're inviting people from all of West Grey to get involved. The Agriculture Society is looking after the parade, and so it'll be hopefully a very good one, and we are hoping to bring in some bands and groups for that, so there's cost involved in that. And then we're also looking at entertainment at the ball fields for the evening, so there's cost involved with booking entertainment for that evening. So there's quite a bit of cost involved for that one day. That's why it's using a big chunk of that money. But again, because it is promoted at all of West Grey, we thought that warrants that, and we are starting to get some requests from other communities and other events that will take place, so we'll be bringing those forward to the council once we get those.
Okay. Carol?
So just to clarify, there will be other monies that will be going to some of the other, like Ayton, Newstead, and Ellenwood for their celebrations?
That's correct. So
Okay.
just starting to get some requests from them, but because they'll be in their community, and this is a whole of West Grey, that's
Right.
why we thought it's a little bit bigger chunk of the money, but that's the way it had to be to try to make this work.
Nope,
So.
that's good, thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Doug, for that update. And to your committee for getting this going. If there's no other questions. Don, Councillor Marshall.
Is there going to be any charges to get into these dances and paying for the meals, and there's no charge to pay for the meals?
Are you talking on the July 1st one, Don?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Lions Club usually does charge for the meals. Maybe our Lions members, it's usually, I don't know, spaghetti or chicken, yeah,
barbecue.
they do a chicken barbecue for this one.
Yours
There's
not
usually a
much.
cost for that, but not to get into the event. Like the Lions Club has said, they've always lost money on their July 1st activities, and it really wasn't meant to be a money maker thing. It's more of an event that they put on for the area. The fireworks, they usually pay $5,000 on fireworks, and this year they're hoping to spend more, but they've also applied for a grant, and they haven't heard back on their grant application yet. So, but yeah, pretty well all the events are free. The odd meal that's in here and are maybe a charge involved there, but yeah, it's pretty much free.
And just to add to that, Doug, they have been on a donation, a volunteer donation as well too, pass the hat or pass the barrel around, similar to other areas that have done the same thing, but what you can to get in for the fireworks and that has been the past, and I believe that the Lions Club are still looking at doing that into the evening type of aspect as well, Don.
Yeah, I just figure that the Lions Club has done a very good job of putting on a very successful fireworks day, and it's cost us $500. This is costing us $10,000. So this must be a spectacular thing they're going to do this time.
Do you mean cost us in terms of council?
Council,
$500, right.
$500.
That's right.
Taxpayers' money.
Yes.
And this is costing us $10,000.
That's correct. So in the past, the Lions Club have, as I said, they've always lost money on it, so obviously they put in more than $500, so they're footing the bill. But in this case, we're trying to help cover some of those costs, and because it is July 1st for the Canada 150, it is a bigger event, and so the parade is going to be larger, and there's going to be more money put out for that. The bands, in the past, they've had some music, but we're hoping to have continuous music, so there'll be more money for that. And the games part of it, we're expanding on that part, which is an expensive part. And they've done that in the past, but maybe not to the same extent, so there is more money. So because it is a bigger year, there is more money put out on our behalf, but my understanding, that's why we put that money forward, so that we could have events like this.
Carol?
I just want to draw attention, the council, that this is also Durham's 175th anniversary since founding, May the 1st, 1842. So it's 175 years for Durham.
Okay.
I guess I'll ask.
1842 or 1872?
No, 1842 it was founded, 1872 it was incorporated.
Yes, thank you. Just for the clarification out there. Bev?
Just a question. So normally when we give committees or groups seed money, basically, it's accountable. So is this going to be accountable? Like, or is this committee going to be to say how you've spent, or if you don't need the 10,000, then, you know, you spent 6,000 and what it goes to, et cetera? Because, yeah, otherwise it's just gone.
Definitely be keeping receipts, and it'll be running through Carrie's books, I believe, so we'll have an account of that. You know, the monies we put in, we'll look after that, but we can't be accountable for whatever the Lions Club's putting in, or some of the other communities have their own sort of monies that they're putting in. So we'll look after our 25,000 and keep track of it to know where it's went and where it's been what it's been spent on, and we'll let the others look after theirs. Carrie, maybe.
Okay, Carrie?
Yeah, like I believe the committee's already getting some quotes and estimates on these bouncy castle activity things, so that'll, once we make a deposit, we'll be paying for that. That's the committee is going to look after that portion of the event, so we'll be paying those bills, we'll have invoices, and that'll correspond to that. It's not like we're giving the Lions Club 10, we're just taking on certain activities and paying the bills for those kind of things.
Okay. Any other questions? Good discussion, and look forward to it. Just one thing is that the 150th seem to do this on a big occasion for Canada every 50 years, so I've got hope, but it's just a hope that I'd be here to see the 200th, but I don't think so. Reality check there. All right. I have a motion moved by John A. Bell, seconded by Rob Thompson. Be it resolved that the Council, Municipality of West Grey, hereby approves the allocation of $10,000 of the $25,000 budgeted 2017 Grant for Canada 150 towards various costs associated with the July 1st celebrations in Durham. And can I put that, you know, would the mover and seconder be fine with, say, the celebrations in Durham for West Grey? I think that it's kind of where we're focusing it. We're not, yeah, for the Municipality of West Grey? Okay. Take that as a friendly. Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. All right. And the last one, Carrie, was a letter from President Lynn Dolan of AMO for support from the AMO resolution around infrastructure funding, I guess, is the best way to put that. It was in the package. We do have a motion here to endorse that. There's no questions. I'll introduce it. I have a motion moved by Carol Lawrence, seconded by Bev Cutting. Whereas municipal government's infrastructure is critical to our collective economic health, and whereas stable, predictable, and formula-based infrastructure funding allows municipal governments to plan and schedule investments in infrastructure, whereas Ontario municipal governments have asset management plans which set out a municipality's longer-term capital plan which reflects the infrastructure priorities of these assessment management plans, and whereas a federal incremental rule interferes with municipal long-term infrastructure priorities and diminishes the value of municipal asset planning and management. Now therefore be it resolved that the Municipality of West Grey calls on the federal government to provide long-term, predictable, and formula-based funding in its Phase 2 programs for municipal governments, and be it also resolved that the Municipality of West Grey calls on the federal government to change incremental requirements in Phase 2 to recognize in Ontario that a municipal government's asset management plan meets a municipal incremental infrastructure requirement. Any questions on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. I'd just like to say that, more towards Brent, the formula-based gas tax, federal gas tax has been one place where it has really benefited lower tiers. You know, it's predictable, it's sustainable, and we can budget around that, which has been very good. Okay. Carrie, do you have anything else? We had committee of the whole budget most of the day today, got through a lot. Your one report or concern was getting council to put in their timesheets. You have all of those now? You're welcome. Okay. All right. There's no other questions for Carrie. Thank you very much. And let's move on. Which is the next? Yes, Director of Infrastructure. I'm trying to find the page here. 80. There we are, 86. Brent, your first report is the Newstead MOE Climate Change Water Report for the Village of Newstead, and a very good report. Anything else you'd like to say about it?
No, Your Worship, it was for informational purposes only. I just wanted to acknowledge that we did receive the highest mark available from the MOE regarding the Newstead inspection. So it was a bit of good news.
Yes. Okay. This one? Okay. Yeah, that was good news, and say congratulations to our operators there, American Water, that operate the system. Been doing a very good job. Second one in the in your report is the payment of the William Street. I think this is the final payment on that construction, William Street in Newstead.
Yes, it is, Your Worship. It was a bill that had been missed, and just wanting to have council endorse payment on the last pay.
Okay. So I do have a motion. It's moved by Rob Thompson, seconded by Doug Hutchison. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves payment on the William Street construction change order certificate number 7 in the amount of $13,053.75. Any questions on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Okay. And number 3 on your report, Brent, is dealing with the 98 backhoe that we had on Gov Deals on the website, offered for sale.
Yes, Your Worship, just pleased to report that we did extremely well on the open bid process, and it's my hope that the balance of the funds after taxes be transferred into equipment reserve, is what I'm asking council to consider.
Okay. Any questions on that? I don't know whether, I guess it's a pat on our back that individuals realize we keep our equipment in very good shape, and when there is a little bit of life left in them, and it exceeded what our expectations were for the piece of equipment. Yep. Okay. I have a motion moved by Don B. Marshall and seconded by Bev Cutting. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves the proceeds from the sale of the BH02N 1998 New Holland backhoe in the amount of $19,250 plus applicable taxes to be transferred to the equipment reserve. Any questions on that motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. There you are, Mark. Okay. Any other comments? Brent? Any questions for Brent at this time? That we didn't grill him today for 3.5, 4 hours at budget? That he's got nothing left. Okay. Very good. Thanks, Brent. Clerk's report is here. And the first one, Mark, is from the Committee of the Whole. The recommendation for council to approve a gift card for the chair of the Parks Committee. Any questions or comments on this? I have a motion moved by Doug Hutchison, seconded by Rob Thompson. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves the Visa gift card in the amount of $100 being provided to the West Grey Parks Committee Chair, Trish Black, in appreciation of her volunteer efforts as recommended by the Committee of the Whole. And further, that the aforementioned amount be funded from the West Grey Parks Committee budget. Any questions on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Okay. Yeah.
I think it's going to be optional. I can speak to it.
All right. The next one is the town of Richmond Hill asking to support their request for the federal government to review the Bank Act. And Mark, have you got any further information
Yes,
on
I'm
this?
just not comfortable making a recommendation. I foresee some logistics in implementing such a system of postal banking at Canada Post, and certainly dollar signs that might accompany enacting that kind of service. So I leave it with council.
Any questions or comments? Carol, Councillor Lawrence. Receive. Yep. Note and file. Very good. Okay. Doug?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, did we receive more information on this, Mark? I can't remember whether it doesn't seem to be on our agenda, and there wasn't something separate, was there? In terms of additional information on this motion? Our resolution, I guess it was? I can't see.
My apologies. There should have been a letter attached, a one-page letter with the resolution, but it did.
Yeah, I can't
There
remember.
wasn't a lot of
couldn't find it.
information other than the resolution itself.
What do you think they're suggesting? I don't quite understand it. So, postal banking at Canada Post.
Yes, so basically the Town of Richmond Hill Council passed a resolution calling on the federal government to review the Banking Act to allow postal banking at Canada Post. And then they requested a letter be sent to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, President of the Union of Postal Workers, local MPs, and the town, and that's it. So that's all. There wasn't any background to information on it other than the resolution and letter itself.
I don't know. Do you
Go
know,
ahead,
Mr.
Doug.
Mayor? No, I'm not sure what they mean.
Well, what they're meaning, and I kind of question, because there was something about this, I'm going to say 4 or 5 years ago, that was out, about banking being done at the post office. And there was legislation back when Canada was, become the Dominion. And for a number of years, that's where your banking was done, where you could go, was at Canada Post. And at that point, there was some question, how relevant was that legislation, and could post offices get back into it? But that was, and one of the things was, Canada Post was looking at closing post offices in small municipalities, so would this be a way of keeping them open and justification for them? It seemed that the post office was pushing a little bit for it and whatnot. With a number of financial institutions and everything, it didn't go a lot further than that. And they reorganized Canada Post, and then they realized that Canada Post's offshoot, Purelator was probably going to make them more money by delivering packages, and that email was taken away from your letter point, so.
Doesn't seem quite significant nowadays with internet banking, why they would even get involved in something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that, take Councillor Lawrence's opinion or direction, and we can note and file on that one. Okay? Anything else, Mark?
That's it.
That's it for Mark's report. Any questions for the clerk? Seeing none, then, excuse me, we can go down then to bylaws. I think it's the next thing on the agenda, Mark. Okay, the first one is bylaw number 98, recommended by planning. Do you want any other discussion
Well,
on that, Mark?
not specifically to that bylaw, but council, there was some direction for the 861467 Ontario Limited, also known as Dan Clark Gravel Pit bylaw, to be on tonight's council agenda. However, after there were some discussions with the municipal planner and the proponent, it was felt that it'd be best to draft a development agreement, have it reviewed by the parties, and then when it was to the satisfaction of the municipality and the county of Grey, then to bring both the development agreement and the bylaw at the same time to council. That would result in not requiring the holding symbol to be placed on it, because the development agreement would address those issues. The holding symbol would have been attached to the bylaw if presented tonight, and then it would have been removed upon entering into the development agreement. But if council considers both at the same time and agrees to pass them, then the holding symbol won't be warranted, and you won't have to go through a whole second circulation process.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for that, Mark. John, Deputy Mayor Bell.
Just an update to that, council. I did contact Mr. Hoy at Grey County and told him of council's concern regarding turning lanes and the entrance laneway, so he was going to look into that. Have not heard back from him since. Okay?
Okay. Now, all right, that was one bylaw that was talked about being on that isn't on. Then we'll go to the bylaws that are on. There's 3 of them this evening. As I said, 98, 2016 is a bylaw recommended by planning for the rezone parts of Lot 18 and 19 in Ganelk Township. Any questions on that before I introduce? I have a motion moved by Don B. Marshall, seconded by Bev Cutting. Be it resolved that bylaw number 98, 2016, being a bylaw to rezone lands described as part lots 18 and 19, concession 3, EGR, former Township of Ganelk, Odelia Osterhaus and Johannes Schneider, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the CEO deputy clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. And bylaw number 99 is a rezoning of parts lots 4 and 5 in Bentic Township. Is there any questions on this bylaw? It is recommended by the Planning Committee from a week ago today. All right, I have a motion moved by John A. Bell, seconded by Rob Thompson. Be it resolved that bylaw number 99, 2016, being a bylaw to rezone lands described as part lots 4 and 5, concession 7, former Township of Bentic, John Fruke, owner, Rhonda Hunt, applicant, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor, the CEO, deputy clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. There you are, Mark. The next one is bylaw number 100, and that's just the confirming bylaw. Have a motion moved by Carol Lawrence, seconded by Bev Cutting. Be it resolved that bylaw number 100, 2016, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the CEO, deputy clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions on this motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. There, Mark. Okay. New business. Mark, we have a
Bring it up in direct motion.
we have nothing under new business, but we do have a couple of direct motions, unless there's any other new business from council members. All right, addendums. Notice of motion or direct motions. Mark, you have a couple?
I do have actually 4 direct motions if council wishes to entertain them. The first one relates to the miscellaneous correspondence from the South Grey Bruce Youth Literacy Council requesting proclamation of January 27th, 2017 as Family Literacy Day. And I also have 3 recommendations from the Committee of the Whole meeting earlier today. 2 of them relate to the Elmwood Resource Center, and the other one relates to the request from Jim Wallace regarding the seeking tax relief for pensioners or low-income seniors.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mark. I'll need 2/3 majority of council to introduce the 4 motions. All those in favor of introducing? Any opposed? That is carried, Mark. Definitely have the 2/3 majority there. So we'll pass those out, those motions, and if we can sign them and move them. Wait for those to come forward. Okay. The first notice of motion is dealing with the proclamation. I have a motion moved by Don B. Marshall, second by Bev Cutting. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Garry hereby proclaims January 27th, 2017 as Family Literacy Day. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. There you are, Mark. So we've got a couple of other ones here. You have that other one on the Elmwood? Yeah, do Jim's last. Okay, the next 2 come from Committee of the Whole and are dealing with the Elmwood Resource Center or Library. First one is a motion moved by Doug Hutchison, seconded by John A. Bell. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Garry hereby recommends to West Garry Public Library Board that the library services at the Elmwood Resource Centre continue for 1 additional year, and thereafter the continuation of this service be further assessed at that time as recommended by Committee of the Whole. Any questions on the motion?
Recorded vote, please.
Don? Councillor Marshall's asked for a recorded vote. Any other questions? Any comments on the motion? Mark, I ask you to take the vote.
Deputy Mayor Bell?
Yes.
Councillor Cutting? Yes. Mayor Eccles?
Yes.
Councillor Hutchison?
Yes.
Councillor Lawrence? Yes. Councillor Marshall? No. And Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Okay, declare that carried, 6-1. All right. And the next one is dealing with extending the agreement with the St. John's Lutheran Church for that same facility. So I have a motion moved by Carol Lawrence, seconded by Bev Cutting. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Garry hereby requests municipal staff to negotiate a 1-year extension of the rental agreement with the St. John's Lutheran Church for the Elmwood Resource Centre as recommended by Committee of the Whole. Any questions or comments on this motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried as well. Okay. Yeah. I thought it was. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. The next one was, we had a delegation at the last meeting dealing with property tax relief, gentleman by Jim Wallace. Staff has done some investigation on the legalities or the ability to do what Mr. Wallace was asking. Had a thorough discussion today at Committee of the Whole, and the recommendation is coming forward here tonight. So I'll put the motion on the floor. It was moved by Rob Thompson, seconded by John A. Bell. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby supports the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole not to support the request by Jim Wallace for property tax relief for the West Grey pensioners, low-income seniors. And further, that the Director of Finance Treasurer forward a letter to Mr. Wallace to this effect. There's the one that's spelled wrong. Okay. And I think our Director, there is some relief from assessment growth for seniors that qualify through the county. So we'll further that information back to Mr. Wallace. And plus, what was discovered was that there is the ability for relief on your property tax as a income tax credit. Thank you. Yeah, don't get much credit in income tax. That's yeah. But there is qualifying factors in on that. So we'll relay that information that we got back, depending on how this motion is received, but that was the direction that Committee of the Whole gave, and would be going back to Mr. Wallace if this motion is approved. All right, any other further discussion on the motion? Call the question then. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. All right. That was it for direct motions. Closed session, we have none at this point in time, Mark. So there will be no closed session. Question period. We'll open it up for the audience first before we go to the media. We'll go to media now. Don, thank you. Go ahead.
Regarding the Elmwood Resource Center, say, extending the contract a year, when does the contract expire?
To the best of my knowledge, the contract expires on January 31st, 2017. And in that, it was meant not for a year, but for the year 2017, to extend it to the end of 2017 for interpretation. So extending it from January 31st to December 31st for the year.
The current contract ends?
January 31st, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anything else, Don? Our Winter Wonderland Santa Claus out there with your nice hat on? Merry Christmas to you, Adam. Anyone else have any questions? Not to be done. Merry Christmas to everyone and all out there. Mr. Bell, play a tune for us. Okay, that's enough. To everyone, again, to everybody out there, enjoy the festive season and all that Christmas brings to you and your family. From all of us here at West.
Merry Christmas to one and all.
Doug, Councillor Hutchison moves that we adjourn. Motion number 20.